What is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch and gaming news video. Today we have some interesting topics to go over, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So apparently Google is prepping potentially to rival PlayStation, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch with a new video game console. I should say PS4, PS5, PS Vita, something like that in the PlayStation verse. So this article is coming from dailystar.co.uk, and apparently there's been some rumblings that Google could potentially be entering the console market in some way, shape, or form. So let's go ahead and get into this article here. Shout out to everyone who linked this to me and wanted to hear my thoughts on it. So Google is about to enter the video games war. Experts believe the search engine giant is already battling Amazon in a war over voice assisted speakers, Apple in the iOS versus Android Pixel phone saga, and laptop rivals with its Pixelbook device. But industry insiders now believe the mega firm is going to announce a big foray into gaming, and that could even lead to a Google Box console machine. The company raised eyebrows this week after hiring games industry veteran Phil Harrison. He's taking up the role of vice president and general manager at the Internet Beast's California headquarters. Harrison is best known for a 15-year tenure as head of Sony's network of game studios. He was vital to the development of the PlayStation console brand. In addition, he also spent 3 years as a senior executive at Microsoft's Xbox team, so he knows just a little bit about gaming. So Harrison recently announced on Twitter, excited to be able to share that today I've started a new role as Vice President and GM of Google and relocating back to California. And industry experts now believe, with the Game Developers Conference just around the corner, that Google is secretly planning to unveil a new gaming division to rival Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Highly respected tech journalist Dean Takahashi of VentureBeat also had this to say on the matter. Quote, "I think that it's a good time to start speculating about what's coming in the future, and a number of people I know in the game industry are already doing that." Harrison is the sort of figure who could marshal Google's resources and enable it to enter the game console business. I don't know if that's happening, but that would be a delightful rumor to try to confirm. I interviewed Harrison last year at the Game Lab event in Spain. Since he was the one on the sidelines in the console wars, he wasn't shy about sharing his opinions on what's happening in the competition among the major game companies. So there's more information that they go over in terms of what he said about Microsoft and Sony and other things, Phil Harrison, that is. And I thought this was interesting because this kind of sparked a wide array of reactions. So I'll first go into what some other people were saying, no names, but just what other people were saying. Then I'll talk about what I think when it comes to a new gaming device, or even if this is going to happen, and how this has kind of happened before with another giant, but then it turned out being something not that interesting. So let's talk about it first, what other people have been saying. I've heard some kind of speculate that, oh, well, it's going to be like an Android type of home console phone type of thing that's going to be a major threat to Nintendo, and of course Nintendo only. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's not going to be a major threat to Nintendo because, one, this thing is completely unknown. There's no concept, there's no games, there's no anything. Concept is like one thing, even if it was to be that Android based ARM CPU, but to sit there and already say it's just going to be a huge threat and it's going to be a problem, not really. It's just going to actually increase, if it's a dedicated video game device that's kind of like a hybrid type of thing, it's just going to increase the number of developers who'd be interested in developing on the ARM CPU. Okay, so that's all it's going to do. It's not going to take away from Nintendo having their first party titles and people wanting a real dedicated video game device with Nintendo IP on there. So it's not going to take away from anything. It's not a fight to the death when it comes to these things. So I've already seen some people try to push that angle, and it's the same usual suspects that are always saying crazy things about Nintendo and end up usually being wrong. I mean, that's pretty much what we've seen so far. So no, it's not going to be a major threat to Nintendo at all. It's just going to increase the amount of ARM CPU dedicated systems out there, or high quality systems that can play those type of games. So no threat whatsoever when it comes to third-party developers or anything, and actually could increase and actually benefits Nintendo on top of those things. So let's just get that stupidity out of the way. And I've also heard people take the angle of this is going to be like a dedicated video game console like Microsoft and Sony in terms of an Xbox One X or like a PlayStation 4 Pro or something along the lines of that, PlayStation 4. And I don't know, Google is one of those companies that's just so innovative and they're so different. I don't think that they're going to come to the market with just this box that just sits there and that's what it does. Now, yes, they do have the advantage of the search engine and the money behind Google and the resources in terms of everything. So there's a lot of stuff that they can do. YouTube integration could be completely legendary on there, or it could be unseen, the types of YouTube integration that you can do when it comes to live feed, when it comes to potentially even recording footage, uploading the interaction. Let's say you can even set up live streams a lot different since it is YouTube or Google owns YouTube, so you could integrate it a lot better than you can do with just an app on any of the other systems. So there's that angle to take too, but I just don't know if they're going to do something that traditional. It would have to be hooked up with some streaming services, with what they're doing with other products on the market. So I do kind of maybe see them potentially going in that way, but it's not going to take the form factor of what people might think. But that's just me speculating on the matter. Now, let's talk about what I think and why I feel that it's a good idea if Google does get into this. But I feel that if they do get into the console market or into the dedicated gaming device market, it's going to have to be something that's pretty innovative. It's going to have to be something that's innovative, and they're going to have to throw money around. I mean, getting Phil Harrison is great. That's awesome that they're getting Phil Harrison. But at the same time, like, you still need studios. You still need people who are going to want to develop on your system. You need first-party studios. I mean, that's just something that Microsoft has found out, I wouldn't say the hard way, because it's by design, just based on their business structure and what they're trying to sell to you, which is Windows 10. But you've seen a lot of the backlash from some gamers when it comes to first-party content and things like that. You know, so I do feel that they're going to have to get a lot more first-party studios. They're going to have to actually jump into it, and that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part, getting into the video game business, because you have to spend so much money up front with no actual, like, okay, confirmation that you're going to make that money back. There's no guarantee if they spent money on all of these different games and did all this stuff that they're even going to make anything. We've seen Microsoft try that with Japan in terms of getting certain exclusives and buying certain things, and it really didn't work out. It really didn't work out for them. So I do feel that if they are going to get in, it's going to have to be something innovative. It's going to have to be something integrated with what they've already got when it comes to phones and everything. It's going to have to be something to where you can use your phones, you can integrate with them. They can be second controllers and things like that when it comes to their Pixel and other stuff. So developing something like that would be expensive and hard. So we'll see what they do, but I do feel that if they did get into the market, it'd be great. More competition is always good, and quality competition is always good, but you always want to have something around to push people, you know what I'm saying? Just like the XFL coming back, that's good because the NFL needs to be checked. I mean, I know it's not going to be quite as big, but it's good that there's more competition coming in, and it's always been good for that. Developers have talked about how other developers have pushed them to make better games because they see what that developer is doing and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, look at what they're doing. Can we do something like that, or can we push our game to the next level? So I always feel that competition is good for the industry. So I'm hoping that Google does get in, but I think it's a little bit premature to start saying this is going to kill off this or this is going to do this. Like, that's ridiculous. Anybody who says that has no idea what they're talking about at this point. All you can do is speculate and say, hey, well, maybe he'll do good, maybe he'll do bad. I mean, you don't know. There's not enough of a concept. There's no games. There's no nothing to really kind of say one definitive thing. Heck, even speculating on something, beating something out at this point from Google is absolutely ridiculous. We have no concept at all. But anyway, what do you guys think about Google potentially entering in? Would you guys want to see some type of Google console? I would love to hear your thoughts, but I also wanted to say this is very similar to what we were starting to hear about Amazon a few years ago. A couple of years ago, people were, oh, Amazon's gonna get in, Amazon's gonna get in, and then they developed that Amazon Fire or whatever, or that Amazon Fire box. And it was just basically, you know, an Android-based like Ouya type of deal that's integrated apps with Amazon Fire Stick and all that, and Amazon streaming services. So it ended up being really nothing, just a little box and like a controller, and that was it. They got a couple exclusives. I think they bought out the developer who originally made Killer Instinct or something like that, and we've heard almost nothing from them for years now when it comes to that device. So it could be something lame like that, guys, to where it turns out just to be like a controller and a box and some streaming streaming services, and there you go, you know, and people start hyping it up, and then it ends up just basically fading into oblivion like Amazon's did, you know. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it's doing okay, but it's not like what people were hyping that up to be too. And Amazon at the time was super hot. Heck, they're even bigger now than they were back then, and we haven't seen anything else from Amazon when it comes to it. So we'll see what happens in the future. Like I said, competition's always good. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. All right, and moving to the next article here, we're going to talk a little bit about some games that I discussed on one of my recent live streams. But for those who missed the live stream or didn't watch the whole thing, Nintendo Switch got some cool indie game announcements, and I wanted to go over two of the most promising ones. Starting off with action platformer Castle of Hearts has been announced for the Nintendo Switch. This is a Nintendo Switch exclusive where you can travel through 20 levels to reach the Dark Ruler's castle. So let's go ahead and get into this article here. Shout outs to Gamatsu for it. Poland-based independent developer 7 Levels has announced Castle of Heart, an action platformer exclusively for the Nintendo Switch in Q1 2018. Here's an overview of the game. So Castle of Heart is a classic action platformer at the genre's best and most challenging, with plentiful of new twists on the formula to experience. Players take control of a cursed knight who has been turned to stone by an evil sorcerer's spell, but who is ready to prove that love and courage can conquer even the darkest magic. Your brave hero must travel all the way from their petrified village to the Dark Ruler's castle, mastering 20 levels set in 4 distinct environments. Each is full of enemies that require different strategies to be beaten successfully and include sudden gameplay changes. All this translates into exciting dynamic action sequences. The selection of progressively more powerful weapons, from the humble sword to the powerful magical arsenal, as well as power-ups, will aid your hero in their quest. But remember, a body of stone has its limits. It disintegrates permanently as the knight loses energy, which can only be supplied by defeating enemies. If you let it reach a critical level, your hero may lose an arm and the ability to wield weapons with it. So here are the key features of the game: a unique main character, a knight turned into stone who needs to keep fighting to avoid disintegration, 20 completely different levels in 4 beautiful environments loosely inspired by real-life locations, roughly 50 types of both short and long-range weapons, allowing each gamer to find their own individual combat style, HD rumble support, further increasing players' immersion, at least 7 hours of addictive, exciting gameplay, epic boss fights at the end of every location, breathtaking graphic design, numerous power-ups that enrich the gameplay. So pretty cool here that Castle of Heart is coming to the Nintendo Switch exclusive for the time being, and it's great to see more independent developers jump into the fray and kind of get into the Nintendo Switch, especially with how well the sales are going and how good independent games are selling on the system. I'm actually really looking forward to this game. Kind of has like a 2D Dark Souls type of aesthetic to the graphics and everything, and it's looking pretty good based on what they've shown off here. So what do you guys think about Castle of Heart coming to Nintendo Switch in Q1 2018? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the final article here, Roguevania Dead Cells is also coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in 2018. I'm really looking forward to this one too as well, guys. So it's currently in early access on PC. So the Rogue and Metroidvania style hybrid game Dead Cells is coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Developer Motor Twin has announced the game is currently in early access. Let's go ahead and get into some of the key features of the game. Roguevania, the progressive exploration of an interconnected world with the replayability of roguelites and the adrenaline-pumping threat of permadeath. 2D Souls-like action, tough but fair combat, more than 50 weapons and spells with unique gameplay, and of course the emergency panic roll to get you out of trouble. Non-linear progression, sewers, ossuary, or ramparts. Once unlocked, special permanent abilities allow you to access new paths to reach your objective. There's the Metroidvania in there. Opt for the path that suits your current build, your play styles, or just your mood. Exploration, secret rooms, hidden passages, charming landscapes. Take a moment to stroll the towers and breathe in that fresh sea mist infused air. So it's pretty cool that Dead Cells is finally coming over to the consoles. This is a game that people really like on PC in terms of that early access, and I've seen it being played. It looks like a lot of fun, and these rogue type of games with Metroidvania ones, these are all over the place because people just love them. People love them, and it's one of those styles that really aren't going to go anywhere because there's always a lot of depth to these games. There's always a lot of content and replay value, and there's always a lot of challenge, and I think that's the biggest thing that people are looking for when it comes to the old school gamers out there. Some of the older ones, they're looking for one of those old school 2D challenges. Gives you a lot of content, weapons to use and everything, and has an awesome design, and that's exactly what Dead Cells is. So I'm really happy that it's coming to Nintendo Switch in addition to other home consoles as well. So what do you guys think about Dead Cells? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube live gaming page to consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below. Consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you for the next video. Peace.